Ants live in walls or outside the facility. They're attracted to food sources, so don't give them any food sources that they can get to, and then you'll have less ants. Good housekeeping can for sure prevent ant infestations. Not saying you'll never have any, but you can certainly keep them to a very, very minimum with just cleaning the place up. Flying insects are a problem, especially houseflies. To keep them out, keep the exterior doors and windows closed. Use effective commercial air curtains for shipping and receiving docks. Flies are extremely mobile and they contaminate everything they land on. Who remembers how they contaminate? They vomit. Yes, they do. Flies feed by vomiting onto the food surface, then they wait for it to sit there just a little bit so it loosens up the food because they don't have teeth. And then they suck the vomit back in. And then they leave your roast beef and they fly over to your potatoes and they throw up on the potatoes, getting some roast beef cross-contamination onto your potatoes. Then they suck it back up, fly over to your bread, fly over to your apple pie, land on the lip of your glass, and they're throwing up and sucking it back up. That's how they eat. So if you see a fly landed on your food, unless you got him away from there really fast, if he walked around for a little bit, he just threw up on your food. Don't use sprays at any time when food is exposed. Food contact surfaces must be cleaned after any pest control application. All pesticides must be approved for use in food processing areas. No home or domestic pesticides can be used, even though I'm a big black flag believer. You can't use that in at work. Nothing. You can't go to Walmart and buy pesticides unless they sell. I don't know if maybe they do. Commercial grade pesticides. What does that mean? That means that if you accidentally spray some on the food, it won't kill you, I believe. The use of pesticides should be a last resort, and pesticides, including poison boards, should be applied only by a pest control operator. No rodent bait is allowed in a food facility. That would mean like a poisoned piece of meat. Rodents, both rats and mice, can squeeze through very small openings as little as 1/2 an inch, so make sure you plug those openings up. Their teeth are extremely tough. They can chew through wood easily. So just because you have wood sitting there, you stick a chunk of wood in, they can chew through that. Signs of rodent infestation are droppings and black tarry marks on the wall along their normal paths. The reason being they're basically blind, so they figure out where they're going by the wall. So they run along the wall, which gives them a sense of where they're going, and they're nasty dirty. So all that's rubbing against your plates and your dishes and your food, all that dirtiness. So scraps of paper in a corner would make a perfect home. So if you see scraps of paper in a corner, you'll probably find some rodent poop there. So make sure that you clean all that stuff up. Mechanical box traps, which is like a roach motel, are effective for killing rodents. However, this is a slow program of elimination of pests, so they run in, the door closes behind them, and they die of old age in there. But they are effective. They just take a while to kill them. Glue boards are safer than chemicals, but the rodents can escape. The glue boards are more effective against roaches and other insects. The big rats go running through and go, ah, shoot, and keep on running with their gluey feet. So better for the small animals for glue boards, but they certainly are effective for that. Store all pesticides and other toxic chemicals away from food products and cleaning chemicals. So where can you keep the pesticides and toxic chemicals? You can keep them in the building. You don't have to have them outside or out back, but you need to not put them near food products or cleaning chemicals. Otherwise you might think you're spraying a cleaner and actually you're spraying a pesticide. And make sure you have all chemical containers clearly labeled, especially if you take the chemicals out of the original container and put them in something else like a spray bottle. Make sure that you have that spray bottle clearly marked I remember being at a resort in Mexico, and the maids cart had all these containers of, I think it was Coke bottles or something. And guess what was in them? Cleaning supplies. It was a clear bottle, because I saw that they left it in the in my bathroom, and I looked at it. I thought, gee, that's oh, it was water bottles. And I thought, gee, that's really dark and yellow. Well, somebody who couldn't see so good could very easily. And so when I showed the my sales guy, I thought, oh yeah, well, that's what they do. They all had that. One is she did that on that one. That was their standard. So I told them. So I'll be going back there again. Probably find the same thing. So make sure that you clearly label them so you don't get sued. Okay, so we are done, and all we have left to do is a little bit of a review, and then you should be test ready. So we got 3 products here. Which one does this chicken leg? Which one does the chicken? What bacteria would you typically find in chicken? What would you find in the beer glass? The beer glass infers cross-contamination from somebody grabbing that with their hands from the waitstaff. And then the hamburger. So the chicken would be salmonella. You find that on page 21 of our book. The beer would be hepatitis, transmitted from the waitstaff who didn't wash their hands before going to the after going to the bathroom. That's on page 27. And then the hamburger would be E. coli, which you would find on page 23. Got hot dogs up on the top. Which one would that be? Got oyster in the middle. What would that be? And you got vegetables down at the bottom. So for the hot dogs, that would be Listeria. For the oysters, that would be Vibrio. And for the vegetables, that would be Shigella. These are the things you need for the test. These are the kinds of questions they're going to ask you. Where do you find Listeria? Where do you find Vibrio? What do you find in oysters? Vibrio. So you need to be pretty spiffy with all these bug names. The top one infers the chef cross-contaminating the food. What would that be? Then seafood. And then a pork chop. So the cross-contamination would be norovirus. Now I'm not saying that's the only thing. I'm just saying this is an example of one. Seafood ciguatoxin. So ciguatoxin you would find in seafood. And trichinosis you would find on a pork chop. And which one would you find in tuna? And which one is your instructor? In tuna, we would find scombrotoxin from seafood, which is tuna. And your instructor, I have really got you learned to relax. Now you've completed the first phase of training to be certified professional food managers. The next step is to take the test and to pass it. The next step after becoming certified is to go back to your place of business, and this is the real reason why we're doing all of this stuff. Is not to pass the test or get some initials or get a certificate. It's to practice what you've learned. You passing one of these tests does absolutely nobody any good unless you go back and teach others, practice what you've learned, and make sure that other people are following what you just learned. Don't just say, oh yeah, well Fred, yeah, he's pretty poor when it comes to food safety. No, correct him. Thanks for taking our food safety course. I hope you enjoyed it and found it not too painful. Now you're going to sign up for the Simply Safe Food Safety Examination from the Global Food Service Institute. And as long as you score high enough on that, we're going to give you a voucher which will pay for your ServSafe or CPFM examination. Any questions before you test, send me a note, give me a call. Confused about anything, any comments about this training, by all means, give me a call, send me an email. Thanks very much. Have an awesome day, and let's keep food safer and be leaders in that industry. Thanks a bunch. Take care.